Hi, I'm Taliya, one half of the critics. As you know, we're flying solo for the Durban International Film Festival 2016, and the film I watched this evening was entitled Ghostland. It was a documentary that followed the story of a traditional African tribe in Namibia, um, similar to Khoisan, um, part of the Khoisan, I think, and it basically follows how they are forced to kind of assimilate their culture to Western ideals such as trading in money and modernizing themselves to a certain extent, while also trying to preserve their culture and maintain their traditions and leave a legacy for the children of their tribe. It was supposedly a humorous take on the situation where they've got to use their culture to make money in order to survive and feed themselves. But to be honest, it seemed to me like just glorified assimilation. I felt quite uncomfortable while watching the film because it just seemed as if although the tribe, the people that were chosen from the tribe to go overseas to Germany and see how the westernized world lives, it did still seem to me as if they were on exhibition and they were treated as if it was like observing game in a game reserve, where tourists just walk past them and watch them clean, make their own jewelry, clean meat, that sort of thing. It left quite an unsavory taste for me. The good thing, the good things about the documentary that I did actually enjoy and take out of it was that all of the people who went on the trip to Germany, the people from the traditional African culture, they managed to pick up and point out and say in such an eloquent way what is wrong with our society. So they touched on consumerism, the high stress levels that we create for ourselves unnecessarily when everyone can just slow down and live a calmer lifestyle if we weren't so obsessed with consumerism and capitalism. And it had an interesting dynamic of how you become a tourist just because you're different where you are. So, for example, if I had to personalize it, I traveled to Seoul in South Korea, and I really did feel like an alien because I look so different. Everything about me was so different compared to the people that were there. And they must have thought my mannerisms and eating habits or table manners, etc., were strange compared to theirs. So in this documentary, it was interesting to observe how the traditional people saw the westernized world's mannerisms and actions and norms really strange. They kept saying, white people are crazy. How can you always be walking around and taking a subway and etc. etc. So they really observed the things that we just do without taking a second guess, because that's how the world is. But they commented on it just so intelligently, and it was really something that left the viewer with a lot to think about as you reached for your smartphone. But yeah, that was probably one of the good things I took from the film. Also, their whole culture is based on family and just being together. They are fulfilled by just spending time together and being with each other. And I think that's something that we have definitely lost in our current world. Everything's so disjointed, and it's all about what we want and what we are striving for, rather than concentrating on just being. And that's what they do. That's how they live, and it's really admirable. It made me feel like I'm crazy. What am I doing? Do we really need all these material things at the end of the day? And also, they had interesting comments about why they were willing to trade their culture for a means to live. So they basically sit there and tourists come and watch them do their traditional activities or their everyday activities. And one of the guys, he said, it's important for us to exchange ideas about our cultures because that's the only way that all of us can survive. So he said that his children needed to learn about the Western world in order for them to adapt and be able to survive in it. And that's what they were doing. They were bartering their culture for money to survive, which I think is really clever, and it still means they can maintain their family units in a very peaceful way. Overall, I wouldn't recommend this documentary just because it made me personally feel very uncomfortable to watch. It just felt as if they were being contained in a game park, and tourists paid to come and see them do their everyday activities. That made me feel really uncomfortable. It felt like an exhibition. But I mean, they're human, they're people. But I do admire their culture really a lot, and what I took away from the film was a lot of learning. I learned a hell of a lot. I really wish I could speak their language. It sounds really cool, and I hope that they carry on and just carry on being as natural and normal as they are, because they are normal. I think sometimes the lives we live are a bit abnormal. The film is showing again on the 25th of June at New Metro, which is Pavilion. So if you'd like to check it out, you can. We've been so privileged to have access to the films at the Durban International Film Festival 2016. If you like this review, you can click like or subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can also find us on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Tumblr to find out what we're up to next. We're incessantly covering the Durban International Film Festival. I'm Taliya, and this has been my review of Ghostland for the Durban International Film Festival 2016.